the goal is not to get back to the Super Bowl, but it's to get better every single day. That is the message Nick Sirianni relayed to the media. That is his message to the Philadelphia Eagles getting into practice one yesterday of the year of training camp. We're going to overreact to everything that we heard reported from training camp yesterday. Every little minute detail, we are going to overreact to it because that's what we do. We're Eagles fans. Trending in the AM. Philadelphia Sports Network. Starts in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow, turn those notifications on, tell a friend, do everything. Get in on the conversation because this is the number one morning show in the Philadelphia area. Without a shadow of a doubt, I will put this show up with anything on the dial, anything on TV, because this is the only show where your opinions actually matter. Everyone else says your opinions matter, but no, this show is about you. It doesn't matter what I say the agenda is. If you want to talk about it, we talk about it. Hell, yesterday I had a long list of an agenda to talk about. We talked one topic, quarterbacks. I started off with the Justin Herbert topic. We never got off of quarterbacks yesterday. That is all we talked about yesterday. But that's why this show is so special. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button on Facebook. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to get interact with the show, I know we get a lot of people watching on Twitter, and I see we got about close to a dozen people watching on Twitter right now. Make sure you head over to the Facebook or YouTube page if you want to get interactive. You just want to listen, great. Hit that retweet button. But if you want to get interactive, head on over. What is up, my man Drew? Thanks for checking me out on that other show last night, my man. We got lots to talk about today. We are going to overreact to literally every minute detail that happened yesterday. Beard game strong today. Beard game's always strong. K1, always strong. I didn't even put anything in it today. Guys, we had first practice of the year. I know you guys are excited about Eagles. I'm excited about the Eagles. And it's hard not to get excited, even though it is just the first practice of what is a very long, let's be honest, training camp, it's a long process, not to use the play on term with the process and stuff. But training camp's a process, and it's a long process. But with the age of social media, with the age of Twitter, it still exists. We get all these instant updates from all the greats. I like to follow Chris Franklin, Ed Kratz, Martin Frank, ESP for the Jalen Hurts stat, profile of the day, tracking every one of them. I follow them. And I'm on the edge of my seat at work, refreshing every 5 minutes, seeing everything that everybody's saying. Chris Franklin's great for videos. He's always posting videos from practice. There's no practice today. Well, there's a practice. There's a closed practice today. Media's not allowed in. Media will be back in tomorrow. But let's talk about all the things we heard, saw, think about just day one. You're not winning your job on day one. You're not losing your job on day one. But you can always see a little glimmer of things we've been talking about even on day one. And I want to start first with the message that Nick Sirianni said to the media. He gave a press conference before the first practice about 9:30 yesterday. As we were wrapping this show up, he began talking. And Sirianni said, our goal at this minute isn't to get back to the Super Bowl, but to get better every day. And I thought it was an interesting message because he is literally trying to say that last year doesn't matter. Yeah, we had a great run last year, but that doesn't matter. This is this year. And I think it's the right message to send to the team that you cannot rest on your laurels from last year. You cannot rest on your or on your results from last year. Last year was last year. This year is different. We've got to be even better this year. And we do that by working on getting better every single day. You heard that he had a bullhorn with him throughout the first practice. And The Eagles have these very fast hour and 15, hour and 20-minute practices where boom, boom, boom. There ain't no rest. They don't practice for 2-3 hours. They practice for a very short period of time, but they massively cram a lot of practice into that short period of time. And from everything we heard, everything we read, Nick Sirianni was very adamant about calling out mistakes. First day of camp, you're going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen. Well, he wasn't accepting mistakes on the first day of practice. Every penalty during 7-on-7 or 11-on-11s, blowing that blowhorn, calling the players out. There's a false start, calling you out. There's a holding, calling you out. Setting the tone early that mistakes won't be acceptable. We had problems last year at times with false start and holding penalties. Not going to be acceptable this year. While the goal right now is to get better every day, not to get to the Super Bowl, the end goal is the Super Bowl. How do you get there? By minimizing mistakes. How do you win games? Not letting those things happen. And I love that message and tone. What is up, Davey? How you doing this morning? Glad for you to join this morning. How do we not overreact, Davey, to that first day of practice? I don't know, but I'm going to. I know it's not Overreaction Monday. It's not Bold Take Tuesday. It's not Wild Take Wednesday. It's let's see, what can we call Thursday? Thurston on the Overreaction Thursday. I don't know. But man, the tone that Nick Sirianni tried to set from minute one yesterday, I think is the perfect thing. What is up, Mad Chatter? How you doing? I called you out last night. I did. On another show I was on. I did give you a little shout out when one of the hosts on another show was hyping up Josh Allen. I thought you would have loved that. What happened in practice? Well, a lot happened in practice, and we're talking about it. What happened is Nick Sirianni did his best to set the tone from second one. And I think that is very, very important to do. Setting that tone right away tells these players that I don't care what you did last year. I don't care that Hassan Reddick had 16 sacks. I don't care if you had this or that. Maddox is one of the guys. He has a toe issue. Maddox, Hassan Reddick, and Dark Barnett did not participate. So step one, I thought I was excited because the first thing I heard was that not one Eagle started on the PUP list, the physically unable to play list. But yet we already got 3 guys. Hassan Reddick obviously has a small groin issue they said he's dealing with already. Maddox has a toe issue. And Dark Barnett is still in the recovery process from his ACL tear. He's healthy enough to practice, but not fully. From what I heard, Maddox practiced limitedly yesterday. He didn't participate in like the 7-on-7 or the 11-on-11 drills, but he was still out there with the guys. I'm not worried about early training camp injuries just yet, especially to veterans. A groin issue 3 weeks from now with Hassan Reddick would worry me, but right now it's not going to worry me. They already said that there's a chance by Saturday or Sunday that he's out there practicing already. So I guess the team is not too concerned about Maddox or Reddick or any of the injuries at this point. This is as healthy as a team can be entering camp. We ended the season as healthy as possible. We're entering the season as healthy as possible. Maddox toe caused him to, we talked about it before. Avonte Maddox, I mean, we talk about all these injury-prone players in Philadelphia sports. And Avonte Maddox gets a pass all the time. Avonte Maddox misses time regularly every season. And, I guess the flip side of Avonte Maddox missing time this year, you got Kelly Ringo, you got Greedy Williams, you got Joby, you got Scott, you got so many guys, you got Eli Ricks, you got so many other cornerbacks, and that's not even talking about Zach. Like normally Zach McPherson would be filling in that slot as well. You got all these guys vying for playing time. If Avonte Maddox isn't out there, I said it on, I don't know if I said it on the guest spot I did last night or if I said it on this show in the past. There's going to come a time where the Eagles are going to have to make a tough decision with Avonte Maddox if he can't stay healthy because for the first time in a while, we don't have a bunch of 6th and 7th round cast-offs. We got some talented guys in cornerback depth right now, in that defensive backs room right now. There's going to be multiple. I was talking about you got Slay, you got Bradbury, you got Maddox, you got McPherson, you got Ricks, you got Ringo, you got Joby, Scott, and I can't read the other name I got written down here, but Greedy Williams. You got You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys vying for what, 6 spots? Maybe 7 spots? There's going to be some tough cuts. And I'm not saying Avonte Maddox is going to get cut yet, but if he misses time in camp, it's going to open the door for these other guys to earn playing time and to show what they're capable of doing. And then that gives Howie Roseman something to think about as the season progresses, trades, the future next year and the year the year after that. Avonte Maddox has to stay healthy. I said it's one of those very important things. Avonte Maddox has to play this year. He has to play 16 games this year. He's got to be healthy. And if he can't be, that is going to be a problem. I'm looking up his numbers here real quick. He played, let's see, why can't I figure out ESPN's website right now? He played in 10 games last year. He missed 7 games last year, more than I thought. He only missed 1 in 2021. But then he missed 7 games in 2020, or 6 games in 2020, 4 games in 2019, 3 games in 2018, 3, 4, that's 7, and 6 is 13, 14. He has missed 21 games in 5 years. It's not good enough. So that is definitely something to take note of, for sure. Sun crazy this time of year. Hour 2, if I'm a veteran, maybe I say my groin's messed up. See, the thing is, man, Chatter, the Eagles don't practice for 2 hours. And yes, the Sun. The Eagles practiced at 10 a.m. yesterday. It is hot as hell in Philly right now. We are on our biggest heat wave of the season right now. Starting yesterday through Saturday, 95-degree highs every day. Feel like temperatures in the hundreds. Dude, the pizza shop was sweating last night. But the Eagles do it differently. 1 hour and 15 minutes, super efficient practice. Yeah, they do weight room. They'll do some film study in the offices, but on the field practice, hour and 15 minutes. Sometimes they go an hour and 10, hour and 20, but that's it. They don't practice every day. Today, it's not even a full practice. Today's like a walkthrough practice where they're going to go a little light. Day 2, they're already going light. It's kind of crazy. But you know what? It worked. That's how the Eagles stayed so healthy, relatively speaking, last year. As we talk about Avonte Maddox missing 7 games. But yeah, we stayed relatively healthy last year. There were no season-ending injuries last year because of the way how Nick Sirianni runs training camp, runs practice week to week. Very little pad work, very little hitting. Let me tell you something. If there was hitting, Jalen Hurts, Marcus Mariota, Ian Book, and company would have been on their ass a lot yesterday. I'm always right, except for when I'm wrong. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right? Nolan Smith seems to be the first of many names that stuck out to me yesterday. Fast as hell is what the words I keep hearing coming out of yesterday's practice for Nolan Smith. Beat Jack Driscoll multiple times. Got after the quarterback multiple times. Literally in the backfield, every play he was on the field in 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. Every single play. Wrecking havoc in drills. Literally, this guy's motor, Nolan Smith, is insane. And it showed yesterday. Even though, I don't want to overreact to the first day of practice. But there's 3 people that I'm going to want to overreact to after day 1. It's Nolan Smith, it's Jalen Carter, and it's Marcus Mariota. The first 2, Smith and Carter, because they wrecked havoc yesterday. Part 2 of that equation is Marcus Mariota, from what I read, did not look too spectacular yesterday, and he is your backup quarterback. I don't want to overreact, but I'm going to overreact. I mean, what is Marcus Mariota? Is he better than Gardner Minshew, our backup last year? Was Marcus Mariota the best option to play that quarterback 2 role? I don't know. Jordan Davis did look ripped. I saw some pictures of him too, man. I mean, he looked slimmer. That's so key, K1, that he slims down a little bit. What was he playing last year, K1? 35% of the snaps? Maybe it was like 40% of the snaps. Then he got hurt. It was like 35% or maybe even less than that when he came back from his injury. I know he had Sue and Joseph after that point. Jordan Davis being able to get on the field and even play 48% of the snaps. Can you imagine? I mean, I know you watched it. I watched it. Everybody watched it. the first part of the year last year as a rookie, the minimal snaps he was getting, the difference between the run defense with him on the field and not on the field was drastic. And he was a rookie, overweight rookie, barely getting on the field. If you could get Jordan Davis on the field for 48% of the snaps all year long, my God, we might have the best run defense in the league. You can literally go out there and roll with a front five. Just think about this, K1. I see more comments. We're going to get into it in a second. If you can run with a front five, you got Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, and Jordan Davis. Or take Milton Williams out and put Fletcher Cox in there. Either way. I don't care. Play Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, and Jordan Davis. Those three guys, hand in the dirt. And then you could put Josh Sweat or Nolan Smith on one side of them, and you put Hassan Reddick on the other side of them. Holy crap, that front five. If I'm a quarterback, it would be like that quarterback in The Water Boy when Bobby Boucher is ready. He's like, I don't want to get all scared. Like, could you imagine the fear in a quarterback's eyes seeing those five guys line up? Like, it would be excellent, amazing, fantastic. We're shaping up to have a great front 5, 6, whatever that rotation is going to be, without a shadow of a doubt. Shows my man's motivated. Well, he's got his best buddy and Jalen Carter with him now, Jordan Davis. You got the Georgia Bulldogs defense reunited on the field now. There's no excuses for Jordan Davis this year. I know it's only his second year. He's still young. But Jordan Davis is actually in a really interesting spot. Jalen Carter's coming in with even more hype than him. So he's not the stud young kid anymore. He's the second stud kid. Jalen Carter's the stud young kid now. Milton Williams has got hype that he's got to prove. Nolan Smith is there. There's a lot of names. So he's not the big name on campus anymore, the young kid. He's just another guy that's got to earn playing time. So it's a big year for him. Minshew was throwing interceptions in training camp last year. Not sure what we have in Mariota. See, the thing is, I think they drafted. We almost drafted years ago, Mariota. Sorry. I think they picked up Mariota because he's similar to Jalen Hurts because of the running ability. I would have rather Gardner Minshew, and I wasn't a huge Minshew mania fan, Drew. I mean, he was a nice quarterback, very solid backup quarterback to have. But Mariota's personality, I don't think, fits with this team. Mariota, I watched 5 or 10 minutes of the quarterback show. He's just a different character. Minshew fit into this team a little bit better with his personality. You want a quarterback on this team that people gravitate towards, not that isolates himself. I don't see Mariota coming in for a game or two or half a game, whatever happens, and leading. Now, they might win because of the immense amount of talent on this team, but there's something with Mariota, and I don't know what the other options were out there. One was bringing back Minshew. That didn't work out. There were other options on the table. Oh, Nicky Sixpacks is still sitting out there as a free agent. Not that I want to go that route. Mariota, yikes if Hurts gets, but see the thing is, Hurts gets hurt and missed a game or two or a game and a half, whatever. But if he loses a lot of time, 5, 6 games, say, yeah, yikes. But man, Chatter, wouldn't that be the case on any NFL team? You can pick literally any of the 32 teams in the NFL. If one of their starters goes down, or their starting quarterback goes down, they're in trouble. That's the thing. There's a reason why that starting quarterbacks are such an important part of a team. I like that Kelsey said the O-line were discussing how to counter Jalen Carter because he's already running amok. Look, I know it's common that the defense is always slightly ahead of the offense the first even week and a half of camp. But man, that Carter, Davis, Nolan Smith, they were the names you heard a lot of yesterday. We're wrecking havoc against our line. I mentioned a few days ago, maybe Jack Driscoll puts his name into that right guard conversation. Jack Driscoll got burned by Smith multiple times yesterday. He's already out of that right guard conversation. Look, and that was one thing he said before practice even started. Nick Sirianni, Cam Jurgens, at this moment, day one, he is the right guard. Now, today, day two, he might not be. But Cam Jurgens getting the first shot at it kind of tells you it's his job to lose on that right guard spot. tackling fuel. I bet you we tackle like 3 times all camp, not counting games. Imagine our first two first round picks could actually turn out to be steals. Dude, can you imagine Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis actually both being the studs we think they can be? Like, just think about it. Their age, their youth, their skill set. Like, we can have one of the scariest defensive fronts for the next 5 or 10 years. Like, legitly scary fronts. I mean, I still see it. Like, you're going to do those redrafts 5 years from now. Jalen Carter is going to go in the top 3 of last year's draft. Jordan Davis is going to go top 5 or 6 potentially in a redraft down the line if he lives up to his potential. Told he to tell you, let's sit back and chill. Like, yeah, I don't get the Mariota. Like, I don't know why people like Mariota. Mariota's capable of executing the offense, but he's basically Jag. Just a guy. He is just a guy. But if it's 1 game, 2 games, K1, sure. But if he's got to go out there and lead this team for a lengthy period of time, which I hope not, I'm not asking for it. But you always got to keep that thought in the back of your head that what if, the what ifs always worry. Now, let's just think about Philadelphia Eagles history. Eagles have a history of losing their quarterbacks for long periods of time, dating back to Randall Cunningham in my era, 91, Bryce Pop, god damn, still not over it. Don McNabb went down for long stretches. Obviously, Carson Wentz. It's a fearful thing. It's why Howie Roseman values that backup quarterback position so highly, because he knows the importance of it. And I'm surprised that was the best he could do. All this cap money being moved around this year, I don't know what Gardner Minshew signed for. I want to look up his contract real quick and see if there was a way that he could have matched that. He's with the Colts this year, obviously. They got Anthony Richardson. He signed a 1-year deal. Wow, that's it? A 1-year deal, $3.5 million, $1.75 million signing bonus, $1.75 million base salary. That's it. So you're telling me you couldn't do that? I want to see what Marcus Mariota. And again, we're overreacting to 1 day of bad camp. Marcus Mariota. 1 day. That's all it is. 1 day. But so the Eagles are paying Mariota $5 million this year. A lot of that is in bonuses and stuff like that, because he's got a $800,000 signing bonus, 1.1. So $2.2 million base with incentives. So for $1 million more, you couldn't find $1 million to give Gardner Minshew, who knew the system, who the team kind of likes to an extent. Yeah, man, I kind of tuned out of the first episode of Quarterbacks once I saw Kirk Cousins' secret room. If I had a secret room in my house, it'd be a lot cooler than Kirk Cousins. Mahomes makes me look at Allen's side eye. Need to stop watching that. Dude, I said it yesterday, man, Chatter. I had the show on on Saturday night, and I was so tuned out so quickly. I was on my phone looking at TikToks of Matt Rife, and that was about it. Like, I was so bored with the show. Like, I got up, walked around, did this, did that, didn't pause anything. I couldn't, man. What is up, Eric? How you doing this morning? Bryce Pop, bro, it's been 32 years. The scars should have healed. They have healed. I still just think like, think about it. Has it been 32 years? 9? Yeah, it's been 32 years. Holy crap, I'm old, K1. But man, that was such a good Eagles team. That defense was so good. Maybe if that doesn't happen, maybe Reggie White doesn't leave. Maybe so much changes in the history of the Eagles. That one moment changed everything. Minshew had swagger, but Mariota, I think, wins one of the 2 games that Hurts was out last year. Really, Gary? Man, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Something about Marcus Mariota, like, maybe he's just equally as good. Minshew could throw the ball, man. Minshew could lead. Maybe the lead. Maybe I'm leaning too heavy into the swagger and leadership ability of Minshew, and not enough into the actual throwing of the ball. Maybe. Gary, let's just say this. Can we just say this? Let's hope we don't find out. I will say he did have a touchdown pass in practice yesterday to the guy that you all keep talking about every single show when we talk tight ends, and it's Tyree Jackson. My man ESP again. No, not my man, but the guy. ESP is like, if he could just stay healthy, he could be a star in this league. And we've been crushing him I've been crushing him, saying I don't understand why he's still on this roster. But he had a big, Tyree Jackson is Mr. Training Camp Special. Always shows up and shines bright in training camp. Our young defensive players are going to hurt someone when the joint practices start. Let's hope not. I don't root for injuries. I don't hope it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see when we do those Eric, I forget. Who are we doing the joint practices with? Let me Google search this real quick. Eagles joint practice. The Patriots. No, that was 2021. Sorry. 2023 Colts. We got the Colts in town for the joint practice this year. I don't want to see any bad blood fighting, because if we start hurting people, or if it gets out of hand, those joint practices, and fights happen, injuries happen, I don't want anybody injured on the other team, because I don't want anybody on our team injured. Netflix Drive to Survive sucks too. I'm not an F1 fan. I will say, Full Swing, the golf show that they did, they're already filming season 2 of that right now. Fantastic. Seeing some of the personalities of some of those golfers off the course, man. As a big golf fan, the Full Swing one, Davey, was excellent. Either they didn't like Minshew, or Minshew wanted an opportunity to start. And going to the Colts, they drafted Anthony Richardson. He may not be ready to start week 1. He's going to struggle as a quarterback in the NFL his first year or two. Going there gives him an opportunity to possibly start 4, 5, 6 games this year. And if he starts 4, 5, 6 games, wins 1 or 2 of them, then he's got a chance to get a bigger contract next offseason. That's what Minshew was looking, because, I'm sure you guys heard it 2 years ago, after he won that one game when he filled in for Hurts in 2021, he went into Nick Sirianni's office and says, what do I got to do to be the starting quarterback of this team? I want to be. I just won that game. I want to start. And Nick Sirianni's like, sorry, it's Hurts' team. He's not losing it. I love that attitude and personality from Gardner Minshew. He wears his emotions on the sleeve. Just like me, I wear my emotions on the sleeve every single day. And I love it. But he wants to start. And I want a guy that wants to start. I'm surprised that Marcus Mariota chose to come to be a backup. He wanted to be a starter. He went to Atlanta to be. Would he rather be a starter on a bad team or a bench guy on a good team? He obviously chose this time. In my secret room is a picture of me and a real Cap Kirk. In my secret room, I'd have a wall with all my different bourbons on it, which I don't even have many right now. I'd have a pool table, a TV. There'd be a lot. I'd have a little poker table set up, private poker table where I take all your money. I agree. Let's keep help. Yeah, exactly, Gary. Like, I don't even think that I'm just overreacting, having fun to the first day of practice, because why not? But realistically speaking, if Marcus Mariota has to play 5 games, we're in trouble. And again, at least he had one big touchdown pass to Tyree Jackson. It makes everybody happy. Tanner McKee is slept on, I reckon. If we got to worry about the third string quarterback, we're really in trouble then, Davey. It's Tanner McKee or Ian Book. They'll probably go with the young kid that they draft over Ian Book, honestly. Probably. K1, the man chatter is an extremely sick man, for sure. Didn't Mariota beat the 49ers? Mariota won games last year. Mariota didn't lose every game he played. What's with all the Browns? He beat the Browns last year. Colts. Do not ever say Mariota's never going to be Nick Foles. The only way Mariota's Nick Foles is if Hurts gets hurt and Mariota wins us the Super Bowl. And then, God, I don't even know what to do then if that's the case. If we win 2 Super Bowls in like a 7-year span, both with backup quarterbacks, I don't know what to say anymore. We don't know. I'm not worried about who he beat and who he didn't beat, guys, because he's Marcus Mariota. He's backup. It doesn't matter. I still can't get this off the screen, Eric. Like, I just can't. I can't. I don't even want to think about it. I don't think they'll hurt them intentionally. They're just hungry. Right. I don't think anybody's going to hurt. But when the intensity gets too much in a practice, then injuries happen. Then people get fired up. Then fights start happening. Fights lead to more injury potential. I'm just hoping for good quality practices. Nothing getting too out of hand. That's all. Joining practices of Browns and Colts. Okay, so I Google searched. I saw the Colts. I didn't see the Browns too. Hey, that is correct. How many quarterbacks can say they threw a touchdown to themselves? Not many. Of course, Peanut always bringing in a great piece of information, always throwing in the most crucial piece of information into a conversation. Always. Always. All right, so what else did we learn yesterday? So we hinted at it before. We saw it already. Cam Jurgens was right guard one yesterday. Again, I don't know. I'm still in the boat that he should be the backup center, but I know that that's the case. Coaches kind of like fights in camp as long as they don't get out of hand. Yeah, exactly. I'd rather the fights happen amongst the team themselves, K1, versus against another team. Because then after that fight gets broken up against the Colts or the Browns, then you got to line up against them in a play. And maybe some rookie trying to make a team takes a cheap shot. That's the only worry there about that. Mariota won games with way less talent than what Philly has in Atlanta. We'll be fine for 5 or 6 games. He'll only miss one game, week 18, after we've got that first round. Dude, Gary, I hope you're right on this, man. Spot on, I hope. And I think they're going to do their best to protect Jalen Hurts this year. You saw it. We could talk about the running backs yesterday. Literally, all 5 running backs saw snaps with the number ones. Real quick, we got 16 people watching. We got 11 likes on the video. Like this video. We're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Likes equal the algorithm going up, equals more people watching the show, equals more comments, growing the family. The Trending in the AM family, because this is the only show where your opinions matter. They're going to protect him because you're going to have 4 legit running backs all sharing a role. Now, the question is which 4 running backs? You saw, he said, Trey Sermon's getting touches with the ones. Could you imagine? Trey Sermon was a practice squatter, and he's getting run with the ones. That's insane. That's protecting, and that's really trying to figure out what you have in this running back position. It is. Some coaches, KY. Smith and Carter are needle movers. Has anyone heard about Sidney Brown or Ringo? That's it. That's the thing. I mean, it was only one day of practice, obviously. Only one day. But we didn't hear much about the court. We heard about James Bradbury. I think James Bradbury was the only defensive back, period, that we heard much about yesterday. He was – I saw a few people tweet that James Bradbury looked like he was still holding a grudge over that Super Bowl penalty last year. Trey Sermon, preach, man. I'm telling you. At this moment, I think Trey Sermon makes this football team. I don't know if it's Rashad Penny. I don't know if it's Boston Scott. But one of those 2 guys will be the last running back cut, not Trey Sermon. That's my answer now. Now, in 2 weeks, that could change. We'll have to see how it is. Is Tyree Jackson a fugazi? Well, I think he is. I don't know why he's still on the roster, but he caught a touchdown in practice. Tyree Jackson is one of those great training camp players that just never can get back onto a roster. But if he stays healthy, and that's the thing, he's just never been healthy. Get him healthy, see what he can do. He's the real deal. How do we know that? Outside of practice, he's never played. It's been 2 years since he's been in an NFL football game. Difference between Hurts and Mariota. Hurts is great under pressure. Mariota is terrible. Well, that's why Jalen Hurts has played in the Super Bowl, almost won an MVP, should have won an MVP. And Marcus Mariota, well, he's bounced around. Tennessee, the Raiders, the Falcons. I think I'm missing another team in there, maybe. I don't know. Man, we always talk about revisionist theory and what ifs. And what if Chip Kelly pulled that when we had the hashtag do the deal? Finally, Fletcher Cox and Mariota are on the same team. But it's now, not back then. Like, just imagine that. How the course of Eagles history changes if Chip Kelly gets his wish and gets Mariota, man. Crazy. My God, our running back room is stacked. Now it's just, we got to, first off, before we get to that safety part, Gary, the problem is it's stacked. It's stacked with a lot of guys that are either A, unproven, or B, have injury history. Swift and Penny, injury history. Kenneth Gainwell, kind of sort of unproven. I know he played well, playoff Kenny last year. He was really good in the playoffs. But realistically speaking, he doesn't have a lot of experience as a top guy. Right now, he's the number 2 running back on this team. Going to get the second, maybe. I said it before. There's a chance that Kenneth Gainwell is your running back 1 over DeAndre Swift. There is a chance. But we'll see. And then obviously Trey Sermon is unproven as well. And now if we could get a safety, yeah, Buddha. I don't know. Over the last couple days, week or so, Gary, I'm kind of getting into the boat where I don't think safety is as important. You guys are all convincing me on the greatness of Sidney Brown. And Sidney Brown, Terrell Edmonds, and Reed Blankenship can hold that fort down. Kayvon Wallace is starting to eventually win a few people over. You've got 9 cornerbacks. Some of them have experience playing safety. You keep an extra cornerback that's got backup safety potential. And then you use that money you would spend on Buddha to work on the linebacker crew. I know, Christian Ellis and Davian Taylor had 3 interceptions amongst themselves yesterday. Nicholas Morrow is still the top linebacker opposite of Nakobe Dean. We didn't hear one tweet yesterday, at least I didn't, about Nakobe Dean. I don't know if that's good or bad. He didn't flash anything great, but he didn't also make any mistakes. I'm almost in the boat right now, based off of one day and overreacting, that I'd rather spend whatever it's going to take to get a safety in on the linebacker. Not even a big line. It doesn't have to be Miles Jack or Devin White. It could be a depth piece. Just a guy with experience. That would be possibly Rambo and Kane stars. I don't even know what that means. Tyree is the penny at tight ends, except he's not even healthy enough to get in games. Tyree's like a cross between Rashad Penny and Paul Turner. Training camp darlings, but he just can't ever get healthy. Just say. Everybody's been hyping him up for a long time. Not me, but everybody else has been hyping him up for a long time. What if he stays healthy? I've been complaining nonstop about depth at tight end too. He's a big-bodied guy, super athletic, could be a red zone threat. We always talk about all the games Dallas Goedert misses. Maybe it's Jack Stahl and Tyree Jackson as your second and your third tight end. Maybe you can get Tyree Jackson on the practice squad and be able to elevate him once and so often. Yeah, but see, the thing is with Buddha, if you're trading for Buddha, you're not trading for him for a $17 million one-year deal. You make that deal. Like, if you call Arizona and say, we want Buddha Baker, K1, you're being like, but before we make that deal, I need to talk to K1. Or I need to talk to Buddha. And be like, hey, Buddha, will you renegotiate 2 or 3 years for $25 million? Like, you're going to sign him for, more years, less money per year. You're going to give him an extension to kind of eliminate that $17 million dollar amount. That's the thing. You're not trading for him for 1 year if you do that. How many running backs do you think Sirianni keeps on the roster? It was only 3, yeah. I was trying last night. I had done all the notes the last couple years on how many of every position, how he keeps. I'm going to do that research today and find out last 3 years, how many at every position, how he keeps. Last year, he only kept 3. Some years, he keeps 4. I think this year they'll keep 4 instead of 3. They're going to keep 5 linebacker or wide receivers only. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. If it's only 3, then it's only going to be Swift, Gainwell, and then you got 3 guys fighting. Maybe Trey Sermon. Yeah, I said it before. Penny is such an easy out. I like Rashad Penny. I do. I like his potential when he's healthy. He's never healthy. So and his contract is easily cuttable. Boston Scott does one thing. He beats the Giants. That's it. Like, I think you could get Boston Scott on your practice squad. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but I think you could. So I think they would be the 2 guys out in my book. But the Eagles would probably keep Boston Scott because he's a veteran and he knows the team and he knows the system and he knows the city very well. Our D-line will hide a few deficiencies. I like Blankenship, hyped for Brown. I'm also really hyped to have Greedy. See, again, a lot of these guys that the Eagles brought in here this year have question marks. Greedy Williams, yeah, he could play slot. He could play safety. He could play outside a little bit. But Greedy Williams misses time every year, too. He got put into a really bad situation in Cleveland. Didn't really get the opportunities to shine. The injuries piled up. All those things combined. This is like a fresh start for Greedy Williams. And if we don't go get Budda Baker, it gives the Eagles and we only keep 4 safeties. It gives the Eagles the opportunity to keep Greedy Williams or one of these extra cornerbacks that have experience playing safety as well. One of those hybrid, cornerback / safety, roles. And maybe not as a starter, Greedy Williams can stay healthy. Fill in if Avonte Maddox misses time. Fill in if Reed Blankenship misses a game. Do whatever. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Arizona's going to want picks for a Budda Baker. But if you're going to give them the picks they want, you're also going to want to be able to negotiate because you're not going to give a second or third round pick for 1 year Budda Baker at $17 million. You're just not. So you're going to have to find a way to maneuver all that together. He's agreeing that with everything that Gary said, we'll put Gary's comment back up then. D-line, that's the thing. Like, our D-line hides deficiencies. Good cornerbacks can hide deficiencies of the D-line. Everything works hand in hand. We got over 20 people watching right now. Make sure you pound that like button. 12 likes right now on YouTube. 3 now on Facebook. Let's go. Pound that like button. Likes equals views. Helps the algorithm go up. I greatly appreciate all of that. Boston Scott played well at kick return. He played well at kick return. He played okay. I'm not making, and that second part, NFL is slowly phasing out special teams. Like, I don't think a kick returner, I think a punt returner is more important than a kick returner at this point. And they're trying to phase that out as well. Or they're saying, with the punt returning situation. But Boston Scott, he did okay at it. It wasn't like he was great as a kick returner. I think there's probably 5 or 6 guys on this team, I don't know who, but could probably do equal results as Boston Scott. But the thing is, Boston Scott at kick returner is the same reason why we left Greg Ward for so long as the punt returner. He was dependable. Even Steven. Like, you knew he was going to catch the ball. He wasn't going to fumble the ball. You know what I mean? Like, Greg Ward wasn't going to bust a return on punt return, but you knew he was going to receive it and not fumble it. So, like, the Eagles would probably, if they went with 3, keep Boston Scott solely for the reason that he's dependable. He's not flashy, but he's dependable. Phil's boy Hurts is hurt already. Oh, that's a shame that Zach Ertz is hurt already. Zach Ertz's wife, Julie, and that USA women's soccer team went to a draw last night against the Netherlands. A little disappointing there. They played bad. See, I know things other than football. I know a little soccer, foosball. I didn't watch the game, though. Sorry. Safety is less rare than running back. Just need a guy that's hungry. Penny is younger than Scott. Penny is elite running back, but that injury history. Yeah, maybe that third running back. If they only kept 3, Drew, maybe they keep Penny, Swift, and Gainwell, and Scott and Sermon are gone. I think it's really interesting. I think because of the amount of bodies, not dollars, because they've invested like just over $7 million in 5 running backs. I think because of the bodies they invested in, they keep 4 running backs this year, which means it's either Scott or Sermon or Penny. One of them's the odd man out. I think they really see potential in Rashad Penny as that guy. I do. I think he's an easy cut, but I do think that they see potential in him in a limited role here in Philly, being able to stay healthy for the whole year. And fourth quarter is trying to run that clock out, giving them 5 or 6 or 7 carries on one drive with 3 minutes left in a game. I think they see that role in him there. Hell, I'd take Kennedy Brooks upside over Boston Scott. Yeah, like, I love Boston Scott. We all love what he does against the Giants. Who wouldn't like a guy that scores 2? He's a guaranteed lock. Every time the Eagles play the Giants, just click on that 2+ touchdown bet on DraftKings. Get 4 or 5 to 1 on your money. It's a guaranteed lock every single time. But that's all he does. Can't you just put him on the practice squad and elevate him the 2 times a year we play? You know? Can that Olympic running wide receiver be a punt return? Not Deion Kane, the other guy. Devin Allen? Is that his name? I don't know if he makes the team. He's a practice squatter too. I don't know. I mean, what about, what's his name? Britton Covey. I'm not sure if I'm a Britton Covey guy. He got better as the season went along last year. He got more comfortable as punt returner. I'm just scared for his life. Anybody ever watched the Not Another Teen movie? It's like a spoof movie starring Captain America, Chris Evans. And he's a quarterback. He throws a pass in the beginning of the movie in his memory. And this young little tiny kid catches the ball, then gets ripped in half by the defensive tackles when they're tackling him. Literally ripped in half and killed. Like, that's all I picture when every time, Britton Covey, catches the ball. Like, really. Plus, his girl, puts TikToks of him in bed, which is really weird, too. We're missing that Djax, Turpin, Hester returner. Yeah, I mean, but I just think, Gary, like, we're missing it, sure. But so are probably 27 of the 32 NFL teams. Because of the way the NFL is trying to eliminate special teams as much as possible, teams aren't putting as much emphasis on that position. They're just not. So that kind of puts you in a spot where it doesn't matter. Are you keeping a guy on the roster solely because he could be a good punt or kick returner? Like, he better be able to be something else on this team important. And then, so you make your 53-man roster, and you're like, all right, which 3 or 4 of these guys can be punt or kick returners? Not this, we got to save spot 53 before a safety or a running back or a wide receiver because they can do this. I think that's the way the NFL is going now. You're not keeping a Devin Hester on this team or, whatever because of that. Team Dion, don't call me Dean Cain. Our running back room will be sneaky good where we quickly forget about Miles. I hope so, Eric. You've been watching the show for a long time now with me. I've said it countless times. 1,300 yards, 11 TDs. Kenneth Gainwell can't make that up. Kenneth Gainwell is his own guy. He was here last year. A combination of Swift and Penny and Scott and Sermon. 2 of those guys need 1,300 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns. And where's it going to come from? If anything, I want it more than 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns because I don't want Jalen Hurts having 13 touchdowns. I don't want Jalen Hurts with 700 plus yards rushing this year. So we got to make up some of that too to protect our quarterback. So come playoff time, he's healthy and ready to go. You have some odd cinematic preferences, my friend. It's not a movie I like. Come on. If you've not watched Not Another Teen Movie, that was like 20 years ago, that movie. I was like in college when that movie came out. Chris Evans was not a famous, that was probably before he was even in the Fantastic Four as Johnny Flame or whatever the guy's name is. It's just I love dumb spoof movies. You ever watch Lethal Weapon? The spoof off of that, Loaded Weapon with Emilio Estevez and Samuel L. Jackson? Go watch a funny freaking movie right there. I love spoof movies. They're lighthearted. They're fun. I love the Naked Gun movies. I mean, come on. Spoof movies are the best. It's a good time. Sit down, pile of laughs, don't think too hard. Why assume Allen can punt return because he's fast? Quez is fast and can't. Exactly. I do want guys that are just going to catch the ball. I want guys that aren't going to turn it over at this point. I hope you're talking about both Loaded Weapon and Not Another Teen Movie because they're both super funny. Saw Loaded Weapon. Loaded Weapon, I mean, that's old. We're talking old school with Loaded Weapon. Like really old school Loaded Weapon, Freddie Defoe. What were they? It was like a knockoff of the Girl Scout cookies was a front for like a cocaine distribution or something like that. But David Lynch fan guy. Swift gives me tiny hints on my favorite Eagles running back, LaShawn McCoy. For sure. Sure, there's potential there for that. Now, DeAndre Swift's got to stay healthy. He's missed time just like Penny, not as much as Penny, but he's missed time. But let's hope. I think that behind this offensive line, like we keep talking about that we have this running back rotation. There's a chance in my mind. And I've talked to my man, Jason Sullivan, he watches the show sometimes. He might be watching right now. He's told me what DeAndre Swift's capable of. He lives in Detroit. He hosts my golf show with me. Fairway to Heaven on Monday nights. 3M Open going on. Just kicked off like a half hour ago. He's got the potential, DeAndre Swift. The question is, can he stay healthy? And if he could be like a real lead back, you don't even need Penny then at that point. You have Gainwell, you get Sermon. You let Penny go find a starting job somewhere else. Every time I see Chris Evans, I swear I relive that scene in Not Another Teen Movie with the whipped cream. Yeah, I was trying not to think about that scene. Yeah, but just think about how far his career has come, Chris Evans. From doing stuff like that to being Captain Frickin' America and being one of like the most famous movie stars there is out there. My son is a walking spoof movie. That's funny. I like that. Wrongfully accused was great. We're going on a movie tangent here. Watch out. Charleston Rambo is going to make it. Have you seen the Eagles unscripted video? And if so, what's your thoughts? I have not seen the Eagles unscripted video yet. I will have to look at it. I'm going to write down. That way I don't forget. Because I take my notebook to work and I start working on tomorrow's show. I will look up the Eagles unscripted video. I'll watch it today at work. Yeah, because that's what I do. I watch videos and prep for shows at work instead of doing work. If you ever want to come out and see me, Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square, come see me, have a slice of pizza, talk sports. Do people want me to do a show live at the pizza shop, like a pregame show one day? Would anybody come out to watch me do a live show at the pizza shop? Because I'm thinking about it. You guys got me thinking about it. The Hot Shot movies. Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. Fantastic movies. I love them. You ever seen The Losers? I want to say, what was that? Was that the David Spade movie? I'm thinking of something else, maybe. I know the name The Losers. I can't recall it off the top of my head. How we got on this conversation, I don't know. When we were talking about every dumb movie there is out there. Headed to work, great live. Take it easy. Hey, Gary, thanks for checking in. We're here every day, 8:15. We don't miss a day. Well, occasionally I skip a day for work reasons, but that's it. There's a Tuesday coming up in August, or I got to go get my Board of Health recertification. I'll be skipping that day. They should have made 2 or 3 of that movie. It was a great time. Yeah. All right, let's get back on the Eagles talk, guys. Again, trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. It's 9:06. There's about 25 minutes left in this show. We got 15 likes on YouTube, 3 on Facebook. Pound that like button, share button, tell everybody. I am your host, Phil Stiefel. We're overreacting to this first day of training camp. And we start talking about running backs. We start talking about the line. What about linebackers? Christian Ellis, Davian Taylor, multiple interceptions yesterday. Nicholas Morrow, obviously the starting linebacker. Does it concern you when a guy like Nakobe Dean or Reed Blankenship or any guy that you're confused about or that's about to play an important part of your season when you don't see his name mentioned from the reporters? When a guy like Nakobe Dean is supposed to have such a massive role this year and you do not see his name? Is that because he's not making any mistakes, but he's also not making anything flashy that catches people's attention? Does that worry you? Maybe not on day one, but over the course of the time. I want to ask that question right there. Eagles tailgate live at Fox's. That's right, it would be. When talking about parody movies, you cannot acknowledge Spaceballs is way better. I'm not a big Robin Hood Men in Tights. Maybe I just didn't watch it enough times, Freddie. Spaceballs is way better, obviously. Linebacker core is it is. And the fact that we heard about 2 of the third and the fourth linebacker on the team, Ellis and Taylor, but we didn't hear about the first and second linebacker on the team in Morrow and Dean. Does it worry you? And I don't know. Chris Evans and the guy who plays Negan was in The Losers. Okay, I'll have to look it up. I must not be thinking about the right movie then. I'm writing it down. Notes. That's why I got my notebooks here. How do I feel about Well, Davian, we actually kicked off the show, Davian, with some Nolan Smith, but we're going to talk about him again. And what did we hear about Nolan Smith, Davian, from yesterday's first practice? How fast and how elite and scary he is. Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, every offensive lineman was talking about how good Nolan Smith was. He beat Jack Driscoll, a guy vying for playing time at right guard multiple times. Had sacks, training camp sacks, not actual sacks, but training camp sacks, multiple of them. Nolan Smith is going to push for playing time. Right now, if you had to start the season today, it would be hard to get him on the field. But once you get him on the field, it'll be hard to keep him off the field. You've got Josh Sweat, you've got Hassan Reddick, you got Brandon Graham, you got Derek Barnett, you got all these guys that can get after a quarterback. Nolan Smith is going to have to force his way onto the field. And once he does, there's going to come a time later in this season that Nolan Smith isn't going to be able to be taken off the field because he's so damn good. No, Men in Tights is not the GOAT. No way. I played hooky from work today. Look at you, Eric. You shouldn't have said that on the show. What if your boss is watching? Unless you're the boss like me, then it doesn't matter. I'm 70% sure Howie's adding linebacker and or safety on this roster. I would say at this moment, after one practice, I am saying it's 75% likely he adds a linebacker and 25% likely it's a safety. I do. That's how I got it split right now. I also think there's about a 50% chance he adds another wide receiver, too. It's in that order. Linebacker, safety, wide receiver. That would be my guess right now. I'm hiding in my man cave watching this show and playing Zelda. I love it. Same, Eric, but watching old episodes of Nitro. All right, I got you. Nolan Smith and Carter are coming definitely. Like, literally, has there ever been a Super Bowl team that then goes the next year and adds two guys to their defense like Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, who that if we make the Super Bowl next year are going to play vital roles in that Super Bowl? Like, when we're in the Super Bowl in February, how many months is February away? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months from now, when we are playing in Super Bowl, was it 58 this year? Something like that. When we're playing in said Super Bowl in February, Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter are going to be making big plays. It's great. It could be the first team defense played against the two offense. Mariota kept fumbling before D. Okay, that's a fair way to look at it. I like that way of looking at it, mister. I do. Like, it doesn't scare me when I don't see their names, but it also concerns me that, like, we do want flash. I want to see Nakobe Dean make those plays. I want to see him make big plays. I do. My boss is a Bears fan. Oh, jeez. That's got to suck to be a Bears fan, man. Like, and again, I don't want to trash the Bears. I don't want to go on a big, long Bears tangent, but I'm just not a Justin Fields guy. Bears fans think that he can replicate this year what Jalen Hurts did last year. And boy, let me tell you something. They're gonna have a rude awakening this year that not everybody can be Jalen Hurts. Derek Barnett will definitely be hurt. Derek Barnett isn't on the PUP list. He didn't practice yesterday. He was limited yesterday, but he was there. Don't write Derek Barnett off. Don't. I don't want people writing him off. Derek Barnett at $1 million this year, and he's a free agent next year, he's got a lot to prove. And in a small role, kind of like Vinny Curry's second run through year where he had 3 or 4 sacks that last year, Derek Barnett playing 5 or 6 third downs, 5 or 6 third and longs a game, can get 3 sacks this year. And he can still get after the quarterback. I'm not writing Derek Barnett off yet. But Nolan Smith is 5,000 times the football player already that Derek Barnett ever was. And Derek Barnett, maybe I hold a little extra love to Derek Barnett because he did recover. We all talk about Brandon Graham making the strip of the fumble in the Super Bowl, but we don't talk about Derek Barnett recovering said fumble. Give Derek Barnett some love. I love him. I know, Freddie. Someone said, well, Freddie, what do you think of my $1 Million Man impersonation when I drop it every so often? I don't know if I've ever gotten you to comment on my $1 Million Man personality. You can thank Hardcore Howie Roseman for that. Which thing? Which thing are we thanking Howie for? We can thank Howie Roseman for a lot. Are you talking about the Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter? Because, damn, to think that we've got 2 guys that could have been in the top 10, both in the first round, and they're going to play vital roles and be effective, it's fantastic. If Barnett could stay healthy, it would make a big difference. It would, K1. I am a Derek Barnett fan. Or I shouldn't say a fan. A supporter of what he could bring to the table this year. Man, Chad, you're my homie. I'm a huge Scott Hall. When I see bikers come out to my part-time gig, I yell, "We see you." Oh, man. Scott Hall is the best, man. Rest in peace to Scott Hall. I love me some Scott Hall. Again, we now got 15 minutes left in the show. Still stuck on 15 likes, guys. What are you doing? How's there 17 people watching this show and there's only 15 likes? Get with it. Pound that like button. We ain't going overtime today. No super chat, no overtime. Ted DiBiase. Everybody's got a price. Hey, yo, that's right. That's right. I think I know who the mystery third man will be joining the Outsiders. Is this the first time that you remember the Eagles are set up for a 5-year window with talented young stars on almost every position? First time. Maybe. I mean, we're not just set up for a 5-year window. We're set up for this year's window, next year's window, 5 years from now window. And honestly, because we have so many draft picks next year, Peanut, we're going to have more draft picks coming in next year. Like, we are set up. It's like the now, the tomorrow, and the future. We're set up for so long. And the way Howie Roseman's been maneuvering the salary cap and the way he's mastered, making the right decision, not outthinking himself. Like, I said it a few weeks ago, Peanut. If the Eagles don't play in 3 more Super Bowls in the next 5 or 6 years, I'll be surprised. If we don't win at least 1 more Super Bowl in the next 5 years, I will be shocked, because this team is set up for such long-term success, not just because of Jalen Hurts. Across the board, we are set up for success. Howie's the Mr. Perfect of the GMs, and I'm Mr. Perfect of morning shows. You want a 20-minute overtime? Damn. Yeah, Justin, you better get started walking to work again, man. They don't call Howie the Bear Jew. We have to win a Super Bowl with this roster, though. Absolutely. But Davey, here's the question. Is it a Super Bowl this year, or is it just 1 Super Bowl over the next 5 years? Think about it. I mean, we went to the championship game how many times in that Donovan McNabb era? We couldn't even get to the Super Bowl. This team needs to win a Super Bowl, but they don't just have to win a Super Bowl. They got to make it to multiple Super Bowls over that 5, 6, 7-year window to pay it off. The real trust the process Eagles. That's right. Yeah, a virtual super chat. Thanks. I appreciate it. I don't think I can submit that to the building department there. In the next 3 years, we've got to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, making the playoffs every year isn't good enough. Making the championship, we know what it's like to make the championship game how many years in a row and not get to the Super Bowl. Getting to 1 Super Bowl is not good enough. It doesn't pay. You got to have a payoff of all this. It's the same thing when we talk Sixers in the process and what's the payoff of the process. Well, getting out of the second round has been a complete and total disappointment. For how long now? And that's just not good enough. We need to do more. We need to do better. The Eagles can't have the same disappointing end of their process as the Sixers did. They just can't. Joel Embiid's legacy, struggling. Jalen Hurts' legacy needs to be better. Yes, Aaron Rodgers took a massive pay cut, 2 years, $75 million. That doesn't change my mind. I still can't. Jets stink. I can't wait till tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. I got Nick Ferrier. He writes for about the Eagles for Philadelphia Sports Network. He was on the draft show. And it was one of the highest viewed shows I've ever had. But he also writes and covers he's a credentialed member of the Jets media as well. I can't wait to talk Aaron Rodgers and my hatred for them. Drew, my man, shout out. Thank you very much. That's greatly appreciated, my man. Garrett Wilson at number 74 and Smitty at 100. Freaking respect. Garrett Wilson's not a top 10 wide receiver. Smitty is. It's disrespect across the board. That's why you take PFF with a grain of salt. It's better than being, shit, however. Yeah, I mean, sure. John Ross retired. Yeah, I had to when that news broke last night, I'm like, who? Who's John Ross? I had to think about it. I did. I forgot who John Ross was. I did. I really did. Our team is so good that 2 years from now, the Super Bowl will be the Eagles versus the practice squad Eagles. Well, wow, that's bold. Of course, that's bold. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be the Eagles, played the Chiefs last year, then it's going to be Eagles Bengals, then it's going to be Eagles Bills, then it's going to be Eagles Jaguars. We're just going to run and play every elite quarterback in the AFC in the Super Bowl. I hope we get more than one. We're talking overreacting to 1 day of practice. Let's just overreact in general. This Eagles team could go down as one of the greatest stretches of Philadelphia sports. This is like the Phillies from 2007 to 2011. We won 1 Super Bowl or World Series. We lost 1. We had the best record ever in the league at that 1 year in 2011. Legit Super Bowl title contender for 5 straight years. The Eagles could do that. They can win 1, 2 Super Bowls, make 3 or 4 over a 6-year window. They could. They could. Zach Ertz pup working way back, I guess. Low key, I'm rooting for Eagles versus Steelers or Jags. Weird. Steelers? I don't think the Steelers are good enough. Not with Kenny Pickett. But that between that and Davies' comment here, I'm tired of the Chiefs. You don't like Travis Kelce. He kind of annoys me. He does, honestly. Who would you like? So I was on a show last night. Shout out to them guys. 4133 pod. Then we're talking about who would you rather face in the Super Bowl? Do you want to face the Chiefs for revenge? Or would you rather face the Bengals and Burrow? And I said, I'm kind of intrigued by the storyline purposes of a Eagles-Jaguars Super Bowl as well. Exactly. If you're sick of Chiefs, stop Jason Kelce. Like, Travis Kelce, like, literally is the greatest tight end of all time. How many times do you watch any Chiefs game? And you've got a guy, what is he, 7'9", 500 pounds, runs a 3.40? He is wide open on every single damn play. Like, how can you miss him? He is wide open in every single play. Stop him. And you stop the Chiefs. Playing Madden is going to be a lot easier for years to come. Yeah. People still play Madden. I'd rather win the Super Bowl regardless. I get that, Freddie. I just want to win a Super Bowl as well. But who would you rather beat? Would you rather beat our former champion, our former coach, Doug Peterson? Would you rather beat the Chiefs to get the revenge for last year and for Andy Reid? Would you rather beat Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, and the Bengals? There's no real connection there. Gronk's the GOAT? I don't know, K1. I have to look at the stats, but stats don't always tell the whole story. Travis Kelce, man, he's a beast, man. A complete and total beast. Unstoppable. Gronk, man, I got to think about that. Maybe I was overreacting and just getting into that Chiefs conversation. Now you got me slowing down a little bit to think for a second. Slowing down a touch here, thinking about it. But still, you get what I'm getting at there. So frustrating how wide open he is on every single play. I say it all the time on the show, like, dude, he's like got nobody within 5 yards of him in any direction. Of course Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball to him. Kelce never blocks. Why block when you can be wide open and score 4 touchdowns a game? I want to run it back. Chiefs number 1, then no order. Bengals, Jags, Ravens, Steelers. I don't get the Steelers. I mean, I know they're the PA team. I'd rather the Ravens. Like, so Drew, I'm in my pizza shop's in Kennett Square. I'm in West Grove, which is just south of Kennett Square, southern Chester County. I'm equal distance to Baltimore as I am Philadelphia, technically. I'm still in the Philadelphia market. I get NBC Sports Philly. I'm a Philly fan. But I have just as many Baltimore Ravens fans in my town as I do Eagles fans. So I love the Ravens to be one of those teams, those outer teams, just because it would, hey, when I look at a Super Bowl, I look at 2 things. I look at, 1, are the Eagles in it or not? And 2, is the matchup good for my pizza shop? The Ravens are great for my pizza shop because there's so many Ravens fans in my town. To beat the Chiefs would be a nice way to have that validation. Absolutely agree. And it is a little recency bias on the Kelce thing, for sure. If you get to the quarterback fast enough, then it doesn't matter who is open. I blame the field. Get over the field. Well, you get over the field when I get over your cheating. How about we say that? I'll say right now, I'm over the cheating, Peanut, if you say you're over the field. I want to avoid Mahomes. Give me Allen or Burrow, please. I don't know. I want to prove that Mahomes is beatable. Don't you? Ravens. Look, I want to see what Lamar Jackson's like this year with the big contract, man. He's got paid finally, so he's got no distractions. He better put up or shut up. Because I think Lamar Jackson's uber talented, but there's something up here that's always lacking for him. Always. And I want to see. Now I'm over it. I'm done. I'm never going to mention it again. Yeah, right. Guess we have to root for the Ravens. Well, we don't have to. As long as the Eagles are in it, I'm good. If the Eagles aren't in it, the Ravens are always. I always say, like early on in my pizza shop, that Ravens 49ers Super Bowl drew so many more tickets and so many more orders for me than the Super Bowls before and after that. It was huge. Gronk doesn't run routes like Kelce. Exactly. Never understood Cowboys and Washington fans in PA. They're all just fugazis. It's like my brother, who y'all fell in love with, but he's a 49ers fan. Grew up in Philadelphia, in a Philadelphia Eagles household. Yet because Joe Montana and Jerry Rice were so good when I was a kid and the Eagles stunk, I became a 49ers fan. Yeah, get that out of here. Get that and that white beard and wavy hair that everybody likes out of here. Kelsey double moved Epps and it was 6. Dude, Kelsey runs routes like a wide receiver, has the body of a tight end. He's got the hands like Jerry Rice. I mean, really. You just want the best chance to win. I get that. I get that. We just want the Super Bowl. We don't care who it's against. I get that. Mahomes is beatable. He struggles with safety moves. They contained our blitzing last year in the Super Bowl. Father's a Steelers fan, historical franchises. So that's weird, Drew, because normally you become a fan of the team that your parents are fans of. So somehow Drew had a Steelers dad, and he became an Eagles fan. More power to you to standing up for what's right in your household. Love it. Love it. Coach Sirianni says we got 1% better every day. I loved his, Mr. I read his quote. Our goal at this minute is not to get back to the Super Bowl, but to get better every day. Don't rest on last year's laurels. What you did last year means jack crack in 2023. 2023 is a different season. You got to get better now, not later. You can't worry about we were successful last year, so we're going to assume we're going to be successful this year. Nah, not happen. Just cover them. Well, how? It seems so simple, yet not one defensive coordinator in the NFL could do it. Gronk won great routes, but as good as Kelsey, I don't know. All of a sudden, I said something just off the cuff, not meaning it necessarily, and now K1's got me so oh man, I'm worried. Don't hold that against me. I gotta think about it. Shout out to Epps, agent. He got paid more than the best dude. Hey, shout out to Marcus Epps. I said he was an overrated safety to begin with, and I got crushed all the time for saying that. My favorite moment last year was Kelsey and Miles dancing in the end zone to I Just Want to Rock. Hey, it was a great moment. It was a great moment. All right, guys. Oh, sorry. Just came 3 more comments come right. I'm about to say something, and then more comments. They were honoring Joe Montana at the Chiefs Stadium, and they close up to Mahomes, and he mocked and says, Joe Montoya. It's funny. I rewatched it 3 times. Well, I watched it 0 times. Gronk can run routes for sure, just not as good. Did he run the whole route tree? I mean, Kelsey runs wide receiver routes all the time. I don't know if Gronk does or not. Well, he doesn't do anything now. Mahomes makes everybody better. Brady was a statue. Oh, let's not start a Mahomes-Brady comparison thing. We don't got time for that. We're in the final 2.5 minutes of this show. Final 2 minutes of this show. We're going to have to wrap this up in a minute. We don't got time for that. We don't. But it is an interesting conversation. Will Patrick Mahomes go down when it's all said and done as the greatest quarterback of all time? I think there's a chance. Oh, my God, these cats are about to get kicked out of the man cave. They're Dragon Ball Z fighting all. Oh, my God. Nobody's allowed to touch that pool table, I bet. He should have said Joe Montana. I like that. Just read Gronk Kelsey debate. I don't know how we're going to have this Gronk Kelsey debate. Man, I don't know. And then people want to get started on a Mahomes Montana or a Mahomes Brady debate. Man, got to stop watching Netflix. I'm starting to like Mahomes over make excuses out. And look, Josh, we didn't even get into Drew. We didn't get into our quarterback list today, Drew. You got to remember to get into that. We do. Never got into your quarterback list, Drew. Forgot about that. Anyway, guys, we're going to start the wrap-up process of the show, Trending the AM, here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Somehow, in the last 3 minutes, we started talking Gronk. We're down to 11 viewers live right now. We had 22, 23 at a time. Make sure we're liking this video. Shout out to Drew. Thank you for the super chat tip today. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure we're liking this video. We got 16 likes on YouTube right now, 3 on Facebook. We've been getting a lot of likes, a lot of views the last couple days, and that's because you guys are helping me out on the live shows. It helps out algorithm, helps more people. I need a mic stand. You don't like the mic in front of my face? I got a mic stand. I hate it. I'm fidgety with my hands. So holding the mic in my hand helps me keep one hand still. It's the Italian in me. I talk with my hands. If I could, I would hold the mic like this with 2 hands. And then you see my hands shaking all the time. I was revamped. You're revamping. All right, we'll work on it. Wind it down. We got to wind it down. We do. Can you feel this Eagles team becoming a dynasty? For sure. I think that might be. I'm going to write down the word dynasty right now. That might be part of tomorrow's title of the show. The Eagles dynasty begins now. Remembering Jimmy Graham, he was a receiving tight end. They never paid him. Yep, nope, for sure. For sure. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, Dave. You've been in since minute one of today's show, man. I greatly appreciate it. And, do you guys want me to put the mic stand together? I'll put the mic stand together. All right. If you want the mic stand, K1, I'll put it together. Then you'll see my hands both flailing around all day tomorrow. You'll see how it goes. Sing a Carnival Cruise song. I ain't singing. I ain't singing for you. You guys would never get me to sing on this show. Ever. 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 But we're going to wrap it up right there. I think I got one more comment coming in. I saw it flash on the side screen here. Holding the mic with two hands. Pause. Yes, I know. I got to do it like this. That's the thing. I got this random cell phone charger plug. I got my pen. I got a broken pen back there. Sometimes I'll take the mic stand and I'll sit here and I'll swing the mic stand sometimes in a show. I always got to have something in my hands, man. It's something about fidgety hands, man. I do. You guys all have a great day, though. We're a drive-through. Like, I hate those, man. They suck. I used to have a headset, but it cracked. And I didn't have to have this, but it is what it is. I don't even need this. When I don't have guests, this is so I can hear the guests talk. I don't even need this in my ears. Hey, guys, great job, guys. Great show today. Everybody have a great Thursday. Be back tomorrow. Dude, it's Buck a Shuck Oyster Night at one of my favorite restaurants down the street. Going and having myself a dozen oysters tonight. So I'll be ready to roll tomorrow with Nick Faria from Philadelphia Sports Network. Talking Eagles. They're a dynasty. I love it. Saying the dynasty in the comments. You just gave me a title for tomorrow's show. You guys have a great day. Again, shout out Drew. Thank you for the super chat. Well, have a good day, guys. We'll talk tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. every day now. It's no longer 8:30. It's 8:15 every day. We go an hour and 15 guaranteed every day. And a minute and a half, 2 minutes of overtime today. Thank you all very much. Have a great day. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stiefel. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.